Here's a pitch on the way. He swings and fouls it off, and the man from Walla Walla will take that one home. Swing, there's a drive to left. That one is long gone.
Now, I might have been a small part of your life, but you've been a very large part of mine. And it's my privilege and honor to share with you the greatest game of all.
What's going on, Detroit Tigers fans? We are here on the corner. I am A.J. Riley, ready to tie a bow on our previous series victory over the Cleveland Guardians, taking 2 games out of 3. Should have been 4, but there was a rainout on Friday. And then moving us into this next upcoming week where we will play as the Detroit Tigers 5 games in 4 games against an AL Central foe, the Minnesota Twins. So without any hesitation, I want to jump right in to a recap of this last weekend series. If you paid attention at all, you know that the Tigers took 2 of 3 from the Cleveland Guardians. They actually hit the ball. They pushed some runs across the board. Not too many in the series finale on Sunday, as we'll get to. But this series victory could have come at a little bit of a cost, as we know that whatever voodoo is going on with this team reared its ugly head again this weekend. Miguel Cabrera goes out of the game on Saturday with back soreness. Robbie Grossman takes 1 at-bat and then leaves with neck spasms, according to A.J. Hinch. Elvin Rodriguez, cruising through 4 innings, 4 Ks, has held the Cleveland Guardians batting order down. And during warm-ups in the 5th inning, he gets pulled because of cramps in his leg and was unable to finish the game. And it just seems like one after another, Tigers continue to fall, and it's just next man up that's got to come in and step up, and they did in a big way on Sunday. But let's go back. Let's look at game number 1, the walk-off winner, 5-4 Thursday. They got things kicked off right in the Motor City against the Guardians. You had Tarek Skubal on the bump dealing. He had a long inning scoreless streak going. I think it reached 25 innings, if I'm not mistaken. Don't have the number off the top of my head, but he did give up 3 runs in the early stages of that game, the 3rd, 4th inning, I believe it was, and actually tied the game. The Tigers had multiple opportunities to score a ton of runs, left the bases loaded a couple of times, and ultimately went into the bottom of the 9th, tied 4-4, where Miguel Cabrera won it with a walk-off single, as Miggy so often does. He is the one that we can rely on, and that kept the winning going from the win that they had previously in Minnesota. They turn around on Thursday, get another win against an AL Central opponent, and it was fantastic. Friday, the rains came, washed the game out, which will be made up July 4th as part of a day-night doubleheader with the Cleveland Guardians. And then Saturday came, and Saturday was, I guess you could just call it a rough day. It did not go well. Alex Faedo dealt, and he pitched pretty well up until that 5th, 6th inning started to tire. They started to push some runs across the board, and Shane Bieber was just cruising. First time through the Tigers lineup against Shane Bieber, 2 players saw 5 pitches. That's it. 2 players saw 5 pitches, and it was the last 2 hitters. Daz Cameron and Tucker Barnhart were the first 2 players to see 5 pitches from Shane Bieber. Everybody else had been trying to jump on him early, and it was not working out, and all that did was lengthen Bieber and allow him to get farther and deeper into the game. And being the ace of their staff, that did not bode well for the worst offense in baseball. And ultimately, the Tigers faltered. They lost 8-1 Saturday evening. It was not pretty. They finally pushed across a run, I think, in the bottom of the 8th inning on a sacrifice fly by Willie Castro. But it just did not go well on Saturday. And then that brought us to Sunday, which was an interesting game. You had Elvin Rodriguez and you had Tristan McKenzie on the bump. Both of them pitched extremely well. I mean, McKenzie went into the 8th inning. He pitched 7 2/3 innings, did a fantastic job as a young pitcher for the Cleveland Guardians. Only gave up 3 hits, but 2 of them were massive. A home run to Jeimer Candelario and another home run to Harold Castro, who is just swinging an absurd bat right now. The way that guy is getting out on pitches and he's forcing A.J. Hinch's hand when he makes that lineup card is just incredible. And he's doing exactly what we need him to do. Somebody's got to hit home runs, right? Why not Harold Castro? It's not going to sustain itself. Enjoy it while it lasts. We're thankful that he's hitting those home runs because it did ultimately end up winning us the game today, being able to produce that offense. But, hitting Harold, he's been putting the bat to ball. I mean, multiple hit games. And he had that last game in Minnesota. He was 3 for 4 before he got pinch hit for Miguel Cabrera. Earlier in this series, he also had a multi-hit game. I mean, he's hitting the ball well. And for an offense that's struggling, we will take offense wherever we can get it. The one thing that I did know that was encouraging on Sunday was two things. One, our defense was pretty doggone good, especially that 8th inning. Michael Fulmer's in the game. Michael Fulmer is pitching well, and Javi Baez makes a heck of a play in the hole. Short hops Torkelson, who makes an even better play at first base. And I had highlighted that in my scorecard, and I said, this is going to be a play that kind of saves this game. And then on the very next pitch, or one pitch after that, dude hits a rocket to Triple's alley, and Daz Cameron flags it down, makes a diving catch towards the warning track. 2 plays right in a row that just got Michael Fulmer on that roll. He ended up walking Jose Ramirez, but then struck out Josh Naylor, looking on a beautiful backdoor slider that just had him frozen. Took him into the 9th, where they're up 2-1. Gregory Soto with his pink socks, honoring his mother in the Dominican Republic, where it's Mother's Day on Sunday. His blue dreads hanging out the back of his hat, and he was dealing. He got Oscar Gonzalez on a 101-mile-per-hour fastball to start the 9th inning, and then kept it going from there, and ultimately ending the game with a fly out to center field, sealing the series and sealing the victory for the Detroit Tigers. Now, that's going to bring us to our next series, which is the Minnesota Twins coming to town for 5 games in 4 days. 5 games in 4 days. They are playing a doubleheader on Tuesday. They'll play Monday afternoon, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday afternoon. 5 games in 4 days, and thank you, Lockout, for this type of crazy scheduling. Yes, they're hosting the first place team in the AL Central, and if you want to make noise, you win 4 out of 5 games. Now, that is going to be a very tall order. The Twins come in playing okay. They won 2 of 3 from us earlier in the week, last week, but then they split at home with the Kansas City Royals this past weekend. So hopefully they're trending down just a little bit. Maybe they're going to go into a slump. Maybe the Tigers get into a little bit of a groove offensively and can move forward and kind of climb those rankings in the AL Central. Only 2 games behind the Guardians at this point, 6 games behind the White Sox, and 11 games behind the Minnesota Twins currently as the standings sit right now. As far as pitching matchups go, the only ones that are set are Monday afternoon and Tuesday afternoon. Monday afternoon, the Tigers are going to roll with Bo Brisky, who is 0-4, higher earned run average because he has given up a decent amount of runs in his starts, but a young arm that's been in there filling in for all of these injured guys that we have talked about. And the Twins will counter with Dylan Bundy, who is 3-2, also a higher ERA. It's definitely going to be an offensive time to hit the ball Monday afternoon. Hopefully the weather is going to be beautiful. Hopefully the balls will be flying, and hopefully the Tigers will be able to push across more runs than the Twins do. Now that takes us to Tuesday afternoon, which is the only other pitching matchup that's really set right now as far as this series goes. It looks like it'll be a bullpen day for the Detroit Tigers. They'll be rolling with Ronnie Garcia, and then, piecemealing everything else together in the afternoon. I would expect somebody, maybe a Joey Wentz, to get a call for Tuesday night to make another spot start as those rosters expand for the doubleheader. Wentz is just an idea, but who else you got? Everybody else is on the injured list, so Wentz could be getting his second major league start Tuesday night. Tuesday evening, like I said, that's all to be determined. Wednesday, the Twins are throwing out Bailey Ober, but the Tigers to be determined. And Thursday, both of them to be determined. So I can't really give too much in way of the pitching matchups, but what we can focus on and what we can look at are what do the Tigers need to do to try to win this series against the Minnesota Twins. And first and foremost, against the lineup that the Twins have, it all is going to come down to pitching. Now, we're not getting into, you could be getting a Skubal on Wednesday, depending on how that works out, depending on how Elvin Rodriguez is feeling. Faedo, that's who I would tend to see lining up in that situation. If I count off the top of my head, Skubal pitch Thursday, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Maybe Skubal makes that start Tuesday evening after a bullpen day, or he gets pushed back to Wednesday, and then Faedo would be Thursday, would kind of be the way that it looks. But pitching is going to be the key. The Twins boast a very nice lineup. That's why they are first in the AL Central right now. Byron Buxton, Gio Urshela, all those names, right? Max Kepler, all those guys are proving why they're in first place, because they're hitting the ball. And our pitching staff is going to need to counteract that. Now, one thing that shocked me, and one thing that I think is going to be very important, is the bullpen. Can our bullpen hold a lead when we have it and outperform the Twins lineup and the Twins bullpen? Now, you may not know this, or you may be keenly aware of it, but the Tigers right now, as it stands after 46 games, boast the fourth best bullpen in Major League Baseball. I know. We did not ever expect that we would boast of a top 5 bullpen in the major leagues. But guess what? Guys like Alex Lang and Joe Jimenez and Michael Fulmer and Willie Peralta, okay, Andrew Chaffin, Gregory Soto even, they have been doing a great job. Case in point, Sunday afternoon, Willie Peralta gets thrown in with Elvin Rodriguez having to leave the game, and they shut a contact-heavy Cleveland Guardians team down. They did a great job, gave up 1 run in the 7th inning, understood, but they did a fantastic job, and it is something to behold when you get into that Tigers bullpen, and that is exciting because those starters come back, those bullpen pieces continue to perform, and for goodness sake, somebody hits a doggone ball once in a while. That's why there tends to be a lot of optimism from this guy right here. Is I cannot see it being this bad for the entire season. Now, do we boast a lineup of major league hitters? Yes, because they're there. But are they players that would play at any other team if they were let go? Some of them, right? A Javi would get picked up. A Meadows, a Grossman would get picked up. A Candelario would probably get picked up. Castro, if he keeps hitting, we get picked up. Torkelson, obviously, he's a young prospect. We're going to let him kind of figure it out. But some of these other guys, right? The Dazes, the Dax, or the Daz Cameron, the Derek Hills, those guys are kind of fledgling, right? Willie Castro, okay, kind of fledgling. But it cannot stay as bad as it has been for the entire season. I just won't believe it. I won't believe it. That brings me to my second thing, and it's going to focus on the offense. Now, in the game on Sunday, there were 29 offensive outcomes for the Tigers. 8 of them were strikeouts. Then there were obviously outs and hits as well. Okay, they had 7 at-bats where they recorded a hard hit baseball, 95 miles per hour or more exit velocity off the bat. 1/3, which is about what they've been averaging as we talked about earlier on this podcast. They were around 35% a week or so ago. They have to start hitting the ball harder. They're chasing hits. Okay, and this is something that A.J. Hinch said specifically about Javi Baez after the game. But they're chasing hits, and they're not letting the game come to them. They have to find a way to stop trying to launch the ball over the wall, but hit the ball through the wall. Take the old Chipper Jones mantra. I wanted to hit the ball as hard as I could through the outfield wall. And if they can get back to focusing on getting that line drive, that good line drive action up the middle, gap to gap, it's going to increase the offensive productivity that they have on the ball field on a given day. It just comes down to barreling the ball up, hitting the ball hard, and then seeing what happens, because it's a game of failure, and sometimes you're going to get unlucky. I understand all that, but popping the ball up and fouling out, especially, I mean, I'd have to go back and count, but I think Javi Baez maybe saw a grand total of like 12 pitches over 3 games. Too aggressive, too early, and swinging at bad pitches. We talked about it on the last show. It all comes down to approach, and right now, it's all mental. It's all mental. These guys got to take a deep breath, and they've got to relax. And the final thing that I'm going to say, if they want to beat the Twins, and I know that it's like the 3 phases of the game, and I get that it could be obvious, but the defense that was on display in the 8th inning on Sunday against the Guardians is the defense that needs to be on display consistently against Minnesota. If you want to win 3 games and win another series, win back-to-back series for the first time all year, if you want to win 4 games or whatever the case may be, your defense, when they're putting the ball in play, has got to be on par. The other thing is, our pitchers have got to do a better job of holding runners on and getting that slide step delivery home so that the catchers have a chance to throw out base runners, because we're getting run on way too easily. Over this last weekend series, it was evident. Jose Ramirez, I know he's sneaky fast and can steal a few bases, but he stole a couple bases on us over the weekend. A few other guys from the Guardians did as well. We've got to be able to tighten things up defensively and make sure that we're not giving extra at-bats to the first-place club in the AL Central. You have to tighten up. You've got to play the game defensively, fundamentally, and make sure that your throws are getting where they need to be. Make sure you're not allowing base runners to take the extra base because you threw the ball to third base when you should have split the runners at second base, or whatever the case may be. Just play fundamentally sound baseball and see how you match up against this first-place club that is coming to town for 5 games in 4 days, starting on Memorial Day. Well, here at the corner, that is going to do it for us tonight. We've recapped the great series win that was against the Guardians. We previewed the upcoming 5-game series in 4 days against the first place Minnesota Twins. And we've given keys to victory about how we're going to beat the Twins. If we're going to beat the Twins, you got to hit the ball. It's a very basic, fundamental baseball thing. Pitch well, hit well, catch well. Those are the 3 things that the Tigers can do to beat the Minnesota Twins this coming week. We will be back on Thursday, and it's going to be a live show of the corner on all the social media platforms. Because of this kind of weird 5 games in 4 days series, we're going to do the corner live Thursday night to preview the weekend series against the dreaded Yankees. So come out, watch live. I'd love to interact with you on Thursday night. It's going to be a great time, and I will see you then.
I'ma get it, you know I be on the way. Yeah. You know I be on the way. Man on a mission, I'ma get it, you know I be on the way. Yeah.